Jy ingeskakel het vir nog 'n episode van Kuier Saam. Vandag is die setting bietjie anders. Ons is op die Liquid Lounge langs die Vaalrivier. And my special guest for today, the cousin himself, Mr. Barry Hilton.
How's that, bro? It's Marcus Sticken. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for
We've
being
just been
here.
on a lekker cruise.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the next one. It's great for the casino, bringing the people in. Fantastic for us. It's like that to get around. I love it, the fact that I'm still jolling and having fun.
At the age of 25.
25.
Barry, I would like to go back right to the beginning. You were born in Zim,
I was
then Rhodesia,
didn't know. I couldn't read at the time.
and then moved to Wales.
Yeah, my dad was a builder, but my dad was British. My mum was from Durban, and so he just went where the things went,
Yeah.
Then we went to the UK for a while, and he got fed up with the UK and wanted to come back to South Africa. So we came back in 1969 when I was just on 13. I just turned 13 and we arrived back here. So that's how it started. We were in Cape Town. We went to Cape Town. We landed in Cape Town on the Pendennis Castle. Then we were on a train for 3 days to Joburg. That's how long it took.
Yeah.
3 days. And then we came back down to Cape Town. My dad got a job with a company called Cats Construction. And we moved, and I went to school. Started going to school in Observatory Boys.
And then also you went and you did an apprenticeship for electrician.
Yes, I hated it.
And I think very few people know that Barry is actually an electrician. Qualified, by the way.
I'm a qualified electrician, but I have 6 children, 7 if you count my nephew that stays with us. No, really, and all of them do what you do. Don't let me tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You understand? I remember once I was at a function, and a guy said to me, "Your son is in my daughter's school." And I said, "Oh, what's her name?" And he said to me, "No, she's a doctor." I said, "I'm glad. Well done."
Yeah.
"What is her name?" No, she's a doctor and she's in Holland." So I said to him, I didn't know he was the Lani. I said to him, "How long did she want to be a doctor?" He said, No, we decided when she was born she would be a doctor. And I said, "That's why she lives in Holland."
Yeah.
So that I didn't
She's
have a
most
very
probably
good,
not even practicing.
But I hated being an electrician. My father, bless him, he was a tradesman, and that was the thing to do. We lived in a tradesman's house, in a tradesman's area, drove a tradesman's car, that type of thing. And so that was the life my father thought we were destined for.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. And I married a really nice girl. I wanted to live with her. My father, back in the day, went
That was not
delete. No, oh my gosh, the scandal. So we got married. I still think of her a lot of times. She's the mother to my daughter, Janice, and she was great.
Yeah.
She really was cool, but I was too young and stupid. You know what I'm saying? So if you're hearing this, Janice, I messed up.
That's for you.
Sure. So, but we got a beautiful daughter from Tracy now who's got kids.
And she's not a doctor in Holland.
No. Janice is a very sharp woman. I think.
Oh, Barry.
She was good, and she married a really nice guy who looked after Tracy, so it's great.
Then in the 80s, stand-up comedy came your way.
Well, it actually didn't come my way. I went for it. There used to be a program called Biltong and Potrost.
Oh, yes.
And back in the days, I was telling jokes from school. I was telling my friends jokes and things like that. And Clacky McKay. And then one thing led to another. Then I was telling jokes. And it was the weirdest thing. I was working as a construction electrician. And when you work as a construction electrician, the weirdest thing, last in, first out when you're closing down the job. But I was never first out. They used to keep me, because I would make those laugh all the time.
Yeah.
Then they would let me go. But I was crap. I was just a rubbish electrician. But purely because my heart wasn't in it. And then I saw these comics working on TV first of all. Then I found out where they were, and I went out and I pushed for 3 years and knocked on doors, and I was no. And then Johnny Noble from Biltong and Potrost, I saw him in Sea Point. And I said, "Please help me, sir." He said, "Okay." Then we discussed how we were going to do it. He gave me a set of instructions on how to do it, because he saw that I had talent.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, don't expect to be the world's best, just expect to be as good as you can.
For
It was
sure.
very solid, you know. You don't have to be the world's best. As long as you're doing a job that you enjoy, it's not really working. So then we had this little thing, and shame he just passed away, you know, a couple of months back. He would go on, because he was the star at the time,
Yeah.
and then he would say, you know what, it's your duty in life to move it forward. It's your duty. And I found somebody, if you think I'm funny, wait until you hear this kid. And then he would bring me on stage to this rapturous applause. I couldn't miss. And then we had this signals. You know, you're going too fast, you're going too slow, you're too loud,
Yeah.
you're too soft, da. And he would guide me from the thing.
Wow.
And then he would know exactly when I was about to overstay my welcome, because as an amateur you don't know these things as
Yeah,
a
you
semi-pro.
don't.
And he had the signal. He would always drink White Horse, and he would take this glass and he put his elbow out like that and go like this. And when he did that, that was my signal.
Then you knew.
Stop. And that was his rules. When I put that, you stop there and then.
There's no winding down. It's
no,
just-
that was the joke. Finish, walk off.
Yeah.
And then he would go on and say, "I told you."
Yeah.
And then it just worked from there, and I just worked. But it was tough, eh? It was very, very tough.
Barry, but people may think that comedy is fun and games. It's not. It's actually very tough to do comedy because your timing needs to be right.
Yeah.
You play a lot with your voice, facial expression.
You know, I've never practiced.
Serious.
No, I can't. It's not my thing. I've never practiced. I just do it, you know. And it's funny how I'm always, when I was a youngster, I used to talk in the mirror. My mother stopped me there. What do you mean talking in the mirror? You're mad. Because I used to do things like, you know, and just see things, but I didn't practice comedy.
Yeah.
I could imitate people, and I think then it grew from there. So when I started as a pro, 1983, I actually had 4 hours of material.
Together, running.
4 hours, easy as peasy. And I was working in strip clubs at the time. That was the only gig I could get, you know, as a compere. And it was 15 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then that's it. So I usually rolled these gags off all over the time. So that sort of got me famous, because I said to the people, give me a subject, I'll tell you a joke about it, and I did.
I was
But
about to ask.
damn hard work, pal.
I was about to ask. Someone asked me before the interview, how many jokes do you think Barry knows?
20,000 maybe.
So I said all of them.
Yeah, but can I tell you the truth? 3.
Okay.
I've told 3 jokes in my whole life. I told puns, I tell false logic, misdirection, and I tell exaggeration. That's it. All of my jokes are based on those 3 simple principles.
Okay.
But I stitch them together
Yeah.
in a story, and that's my ability.
And then you also have the ability to read your audience.
That just came from experience. And it's just working. Here's an example. We were talking earlier. Rick had heard of me, and I was walking in the Grand Easter show. And Rick was in this 702 van bus, and said, "Hey, there's my cousin." The young man came in. He said, "There's 2 cousins now." He came in and he told everybody was walking past there, "Take your time to go see this kid," and that was really cool, you know. And then, but that was also a nightmare, because Rick put me on a spot. You understand? But which was great. But it's like now, you know, if I open a door for a young comic, it is his or her duty to go through and make it happen.
Yeah.
Rick opened quite a few doors for me. In fact, I know he phoned a general manager of one of the hotels I worked at, phoned him and said, "Can you help us?" He said, "Leave it to me." And Rick came to see me and said that I flipped it. I'm not lying, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Rick and I have been friends for like close to 40 years.
Yeah.
So you have to go through that, so that we'll be putting on these levels. Okay, we go to the next level. Then I got pushed to go to the bigger shows that had dancers, proper dancers, and cabaret artists and things like that. And then I went to Sun City to do the extravaganza.
Oh yeah.
And that was huge for me. And then so it grew from that. But then I had to go back to the strip clubs, because the strip clubs in those days weren't sleazy and all that stuff.
No, they weren't.
Businessmen used to go there.
The food was good.
The food was good, And usually they brought in British comedians.
Yeah.
Because the British comics could handle the semi-drunk oaks,
yeah.
the loud and all that. So they said to me, okay, we're going to put you into this place, Derek McKillop. And he basically said to me, you've got 2 weeks, make it happen. And I did.
No pressure.
No pressure, but I did. I made it happen. And it just carried on from there.
I also believe that Richard Pryor played a role in your
massive
career.
Richard Pryor's isn't it weird? I don't I don't curse.
No, you don't.
Off stage, I'm one of the boys. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. But on stage, I don't have to curse. So why do I have to curse?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Richard Pryor was the antithesis of that, isn't it? That's a big word, isn't it? So, but Richard Pryor, the way he did it was just like, wow. And I saw, so you leave his stuff, and I just listened, and I watched his actions and all that. Then a lot of people used to say to me, you know, you're very similar to Richard Pryor. And I said, am I? But obviously it was from watching Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I wasn't copying him. He influenced me.
Yeah.
And then I was in the UK, and I had a chance to work in Jersey, the Channel Islands, and I had a 17-week gig there. And then the guy got cold feet. But Billy Connolly was coming, so he phoned me up and he said, listen, we're a bit worried because you're South African, because it was a very hard time to be South African doing that. He says, would you be prepared to open for Billy Connolly? I said, yes, let's go. So I opened for Billy Connolly for 4 nights in Jersey. And night 3, I think it was, Billy Connolly he came into my change room, put his head round the door and said to me, hello. And in a Scots accent, he said, you're very funny. You're very funny. But you need to stop telling jokes. You need to put those jokes into situations and do it. So Billy Connolly doesn't know this, but he was, besides Richard Pryor, he's probably one of my biggest influences because he did it out of the kindness of his heart because he was a great guy. He is a great guy. So he didn't have to say that to me. You know what I'm saying? He did it. So, and when you work in our business, everything is subjective. The manager, the artist management see you, they go, oh, yesterday. You go here, you go to a venue, and some of the audience are going like, the others are falling about. But you have to soldier on through. You've done it, radio. So you're in the radio, people say you're rubbish, you do this. So I developed a core of people that I could trust. Rick was one, Brian Mulder was another, Johnny Noble
I remember.
was another. So I would ask them for advice, not every 5 minutes, but like I remember going to, asking Brian Mulder, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay to do that? And he said to me, Barry, you wouldn't be here
If you weren't
capable of doing this room.
Yeah.
Oh, really? And then he would go out of it and say, well, I tell you what, you're talking a little bit too fast. Just chill out.
Tone down.
Talk to Johnny Noble, he says. Talk to Rick. He says, Baz, maybe that joke was a little bit edgy. Okay, cool. And then eventually, the other comics then started to acknowledge me. They ignored me like a flippin' stop street for years.
You were a threat, I think.
Big stuff. And they ignored me, and eventually it happens. You get respect.
Yeah.
You get respect. And then still, you'll have hard times. People think it's easy. And there was a new wave of comics came through. I was a pro for about 10 or 12 years. And a new wave of comics came through. And they were slightly different to me. So the people, my detractors were saying, oh, he's finished. He's gone. It's rubbish. And then I went to go see these comics and I thought, no ways. But so I got on the stage with them and they were like quite horrible to me because they thought it's their turn.
Yeah.
And I remember going on stage and it's the weirdest thing. When you're under pressure in anything, you up your game.
Totally.
So I just upped my game. And they were going like, geez. Now, if you talk to the youngsters, the older comics now, they're youngsters, it's respect. Hey Baz, how you doing? Oh, listen here, Baz, there's a guy phoned me about this and this and this. I told him to phone you because you can tell him that. So that's where I am now, you know, and it's been a blessing, but it's been 40 years.
Long years.
But you know what? Having a chocolate.
Living your dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then, Barry, you've also got the ability to take normal life situations and turn them into funny stories.
That's advice. That's the advice from Billy Connolly. When I watched Richard Pryor and all that, I couldn't see the bridge. I couldn't see it. I thought, I'll never be like that, you know. But Billy Connolly gave me the courage to do it. And here's another thing. It was a great stalwart in South Africa, Joe Parker. I was working at the runway bar and places like that. And I said to him, I'm a victim of my own success here, Joe, because it's just a 3-month cycle. I go to this place, 3 months, this place. And even though my audience were getting bigger, I wasn't getting in my career. And Joe said to me, book a room and do the show yourself. And I said, well, you're crazy. He said, it's up to you, pal. And I went to a place in Boomer. Basil O'Hagan had it, called O'Hagan's. And they gave me Sunday nights. So the first Sunday night I got 6 people. The next Sunday night I got about 14. The third Sunday night I remember it was about 4 people. But I still did the show. And then the guy said to me, listen,
it's not working,
it's not going to work, but you got one more Sunday out. Yeah. And it was like the next Sunday I went there, it was totally packed. So the word had got out.
Gone out, yeah.
But it's because I didn't give up, you know.
Yeah.
Work. So
now also, do you find, and I was thinking that on my way here, do you find that people tend to feel obliged to tell you jokes?
They used to. I think I've gone past that level now, which I'm very grateful for. People rather tell me situational stories about themselves, and they say, "Can you put this in a joke?" And I'll go, "Actually, you know, I'm okay with that because what do I talk about? I talk about being married. I talk about going to buy groceries. I talk about kids in school, the car
Take
you had,
your car for
go to London,
whatever.
Do that. That's what I talk about." So, because of the hard work I've put in and those 3 simple jokes that I use, I can create limitless material.
Yeah,
that's great.
How do you time yourself?
I don't know. Johnny Noble told me that the first time he saw me work, and he said to me, "You know what? Your stage presence is not good at the moment, and then how you're holding the mic is wrong." He said to me, "But your timing is just perfect. Ridiculous." And I said, "Timing?" And he said, "Exactly."
Yeah.
It was the way I answered them back. He said to me, my timing is just like spot on. So that was something I never had to practice because it was there. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does.
Yes, it's timing. You know, they say, how do you know when a comedian is bad? Timing. So it's the wrong timing. You've got to wait.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. So timing was definitely, I had it. Still got it, I hope. So the other bits you learn. How did you learn? I mean, how many discs did you actually put on that turntable? Thousands. One day, there's a certain DJ and we don't see eye to eye. No, I don't even see eye to eye. Idiot, as far as I'm concerned. He moaned about and he said, you know, he was moaning about me because I'd got a TV show to do and he was going to interview me. So I phoned him up and I said, listen, I'm on national television, so can
currently.
And I went mad. So that morning, he went on the radio and dissed me up and down, told people I'm an idiot and I'm rubbish, and I just tell the same old tired jokes. Nothing for another reason, because he didn't like me. And I remember somebody actually contacting him on the phone in the studio and said, stop the bus. Those jokes that Barry Hilton tells, he said, yeah, those old ones. And this woman, she said to him, yeah, they are his jokes. He wrote them. So he's entitled to tell them when he wants. And she said to him on air, you make a living by playing other people's music. yo! That was a diss. But it didn't come from me. But
Yeah,
But you know what? There's space for everybody.
of course there.
You know, you think, like, you know, we've got this phenom from South Africa, Trevor Noah. He is a generational talent. It's just,
Yeah.
he's just something
Next level.
ridiculous, more than the next level. When he first started, I was actually angry because I thought, hey, this guy's better than me. I knew it straight away. You know, from the time he started, I thought, wow, this guy's a killer. So I didn't like him, and I realized after 2 or 3 gigs working with him, he did some weird things that I didn't enjoy. But I said to him, I remember in Cape Town Airport, I said, "But you're going to go to America, and you are going to be huge." And he said to
True
me,
words,
he said to me,
eh?
"Thanks," and he went. But everybody now, the youngsters, they all try and emulate him instead of finding their own
stuff.
thing. There's a thing Johnny Noble told me. He said, you can copy a comedian, you can copy somebody, and you'll last 3 years because
If that.
you are copying that person.
Yeah.
Or he said, you can spend 10 years developing your own style, and you'll have it for the rest of your life. So
For sure.
yeah, so, you know, like Trevor Noah or not, the Oak is a genius. It's as simple as that. See, imagine players like, kids that were Lionel Messi's age.
Yeah.
And Messi gets the ball and goes, it's the way it is. And the people, you know, the parents complained, they said he's a cheat and he's this and that, because they had no answer for his talent. So you've got to actually say, wow. Because the next level is coming through, and it's coming through. And everybody, as you know, gets overtaken eventually. I tell people about Robin Williams, the young kids, and they go,
Who's that?
"Who's Robbie Williams?" Richard Pryor. They go, "Who's Richard Pryor?"
They don't.
Wow. Did you know that Paul McCartney did a thing with Kanye West? Keanu West, what's his name?
Yeah.
And he did this duo, whatever. It was quite a successful song. And West's fans wrote to him and said, what a cool guy Keanu West is, because he actually gave this Bali a chance.
Yeah.
They didn't even know who Paul McCartney was. And Keanu West was like... So it's funny how life goes on. They didn't even know. The amount of people that don't know who Elvis was. Or B.B. King.
For sure.
You know, those guys are massive. If the music today, and the comedy today, and the acting abilities today, and the directorial abilities, all have come from something else. They've got better, and you got better, and you learn from it. So that's it.
Have you ever thought of...
Sometimes I think about every 4 months I have a thought. Usually I'm like,
oh, good. Ever thought about being like a comedian instructor kind of person?
Well,
taking young guys under
yes,
your wing
I do.
and teaching them?
but I do it in reverse. I wait until they contact me.
Okay.
There's a couple of young...
You're not like a talent scout?
Because I give them there's a guy he's in America now called Long John from Zimbabwe. He was a great guy. You phone me up and say, please can I work, please can I work, please can I work, please can I work. And I used to say to him every time, listen dude, I can't pay you. He said, I don't want to be paid, I want to work on the same stage as you. And then he would come off every single time he'd come off stage. He didn't go like, he said, what did I do wrong? Every time. So I said to him, okay, try this, do that. And the next time you see him, he's done that. And he worked at it. Now he's in the States. So
Doing well?
yeah, I think he's doing very well. He's very clever, very sharp guy. You know.
And the kids, none of them followed your footsteps as far as that's concerned?
My Tracy's in finance. Bradley and Tyler are in video productions, and they go all over the world.
Yeah.
Green screen and lighting, videos, all that stuff. Jamie, he's a musician in London. A very talented guy. Works as a busker. Got to be the hardest job in the flipping world for sure. And then we got a young boy, my young boy Jack. He's just Jack. He wants to be Jack. He wants to be a professional football player. But he has to study. I won't allow him to just do that.
First
He's
things
got to study first. But
yeah. Then retirement.
You know what? It's very difficult. You get politicians that are 80 years old. Why do they carry on? Do they need the money? No, it's the adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know, so I could probably have a very modest retirement. I almost lost everything I had in COVID.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't work for 2 years. Nothing.
Yeah, that's-
Zippo. Wasn't in the radio. I didn't work for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but we got through it. You know what I'm saying? We got some stuff, rainy day money, and we managed. So, will I retire? I'm thinking, why? I'm having fun. When I stop having fun, when my wife, who's my agent, my manager, says to me, you got to go there. When I go like, oh, no, time to stop.
Then.
Time to stop anything. But I think, look, I'm at the level that now, really, am I away? I've got to be away for a week. And I go, okay, it's fine. I did go through a very, very, very bad patch 3 or 4 years ago, where I resented being who I am, because it was taking away my life. Couldn't see my kids, couldn't do this. And then I actually had a breakdown and I ended up in a clinic.
Okay.
And I tell people, I say, you know, I had a breakdown, but it serves me right. I shouldn't have bought that Cortina. When I was in the clinic and I realized, no, hold on, but I've got a special thing that I have here, and it's been gifted to me, and I got to work at it, so I should be grateful. And it actually came out of that on a brilliant positive. So now I look forward to working. Like when you phoned me and said, let's do this interview. Yeah, great. It's lekker.
Yeah, it's always lekker. I used to have a mentor back in the day when I worked for Highveld, a guy by the name of Sarel Mare, who's also passed on by now. But he said to me, Marius, the first time you move behind a mic and you don't have butterflies, get out of there. You've lost the passion.
Every single time, even today, even though Rick was bringing me on today, I feel physically like throwing up. Every single time I go on stage. And that's closing on 7,000 or 7,000 plus shows I've been on stage. Today, I want to, as Rick is like winding up to get me on, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to vomit. And as soon as he says, Daryl, yeah, boom, it goes away.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
That is.
If you don't like what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah.
I have a little theory. When I speak to people, I always ask people, hey, how's it, man? What do you do? If there's a 2-second gap,
You know.
the oak doesn't like his job.
Yeah.
The woman doesn't like her job. If they go like, sell cars. And I say to them, why? No money. I said, no, but why? It should be, what do you do? I sell cars. Can I help you with one?
Yeah.
That's what it should be like.
Listen, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Okay.
It was really nice having you. Thank you for this beautiful setting.
Fabulous. Beautiful in the Vaal. What a joy. Thank you.
Ons is volgende week terug met nog 'n onderhoud. Jy bly ingeskakel.